One you see at the top there, 9, that's for legislators only, or former reps, or anybody who's ever declared a run. Josh Youssef has signed that, along with Stella, I can't remember, Kevin Avard.
Yeah.
There's a few people have signed that, we're getting the word out now, so you can go, I believe I got it.
Is that for sitting reps or former? I'll sign it. I haven't signed it yet.
It's for any reps in the past, in the present, or reps that have declared a run,
Oh boy, I'll be happy to sign that.
or senators. The top address is the main website. You can learn more about this at NewHampshireRedoes.org. You can sign the petitions that you saw here. These are all different petitions: repeal Common Core, Obamacare, get rid of some of the Everett turnpike tolls, genetically modified
Yeah,
foods,
look at that.
wrongful foreclosures. So, these are things that are, license plate readers. What does license plate readers have to do with the good administration of government?
Nothing.
Because that's the only purpose government has.
They have,
It's to create
it's
rules.
the good rounding up and corralling of the people.
But the Article 38 is for the good administration of government. That's the only purpose. So license plate readers have nothing to do with the good administration of government. They're null and void. They shouldn't be, it doesn't matter how you feel about them. The legislature has no authority for those things. So the petitions are nhredress.info. And if you're a former state rep, or current state rep, or if you're considering a run, if you nail that down and declared it, then go to nhredress.com and sign that petition that says you're with redress. And that's it.
Okay.
One question, guys.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't there a article of, I can't remember which one, John had said that they had changed the wording on one of them in 1968, and there's no record of anything.
In 1968, the Article 6, which has a lot, the Common Core couldn't exist without the change that was made in 1968. And somebody told him it was a constitutional convention. There's no record of that. It says in the Constitution, in the New Hampshire Constitution, that there was an amendment. I don't think he's been able to find out either way. But either way, let's say it was an amendment to repeal some of the language in Article 6, which had to do, I don't have a slide for that one, but it had to do with morality, piety in the church, and evangelical principles. If you look at Article 6 now, it talks about high principles. High principles are not the same as evangelical principles. And where the legislature has to exactly and constantly observe the fundamental principles of the Constitution and the social virtues, then they had no authority to even propose that constitutional amendment and to take out those fundamental principles, because that's contrary to the Constitution, which they took an oath of office to.
Right,
So
there's no
I
record.
believe that can be repealed.
There's no record of it.
He can't find it.
My question is not for Gus, it's for everyone in this room. By a showing of hands, who in this room has been wronged in one way or another by the state of New Hampshire? Even if it's monetary, if it's non-monetary, in some way. Have you been wronged any time in your life by the state of New Hampshire?
There you go.
If you're willing to file your own petition, keep your hands up. Just wondering. That's all.
I believe it's possible to turn this into a campaign issue this summer.
Let's hope so. That sounds like.
I think we got plenty of time, and it's just a matter of getting the word out. I'll drive anywhere and put this on. I'll do it on the phone, on a conference line.
Gus, so this was in effect for over a few hundred years.
300 years.
What happened in 1951 that this just seemingly vanished?
I think it's when they created legislative services.
Can you explain that?
Oh, that would, that makes sense.
Legislative services, I think, came in about 3 years later. But there was a lot going on. I haven't nailed down. There's some things I'm still trying to track down. But
Legislative services is for people like me who didn't really know how to write a bill, and you go to the legislative services and say, hey, I wanna write a bill about, stopping my neighbor's dog from pooping on my porch. So, or you have somebody who comes to you with a complaint like that, you go to them, and they look up existing law in the state, and then they'll compose a law, and then you read over it, and you can fix it, amend it, change it, do whatever you want to it, and then you present it as a bill.
So the
So-
service is
And
part of
so
that.
that's got lawyers in there, and so they may.
Legislative services is all attorneys.
Yeah, it's all
And
attorneys.
Attorneys like to keep things ambiguous so that they have something to argue about in court, because they make money by
Otherwise,
separation of
so
powers.
if they're writing a law and you don't know what's going on, and you're not really policing and looking after your own bills, then, and just letting them have carte blanche, then you get.
Well, that was kind of an observation I'm looking at this in 1951, thinking that obviously with thousands of people have these petitions, which the legislative branch essentially mediated, let's say, right? Now, those people who were injured in some way either did nothing about it or fought it out with their neighbor or went to court, I would think, right?
They get squelched by the government. The right for what he's talking about, whoever might have been Speaker of the House or whatever
I'm saying
body
the alternative-
of people who were in the House and Senate at the time decided to just say,
I'm
hey,
saying the
screw
alternative
you.
then practically.
The alternative is court.
To go to court.
Yeah,
So that kind of ties in with what you're saying
Yeah.
about maybe the New Hampshire bar.
They
To
created,
funnel everybody through the court.
they had
system.
enough probate issues that they created a probate court, which is fine.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
this is for redresses of grievances for crimes or wrongs that have been done by the government.
Okay,
Only
only
you.
specifically.
If you've got a civil issue, that's something you would take up in civil
Right.
court.
That's right.
It's just by the government.
Yeah, just for the
So
government.
where would Ward Bird fit into that? Would he be able
He would file a petition.
Yeah.
He claimed that he was damaged by the state.
Absolutely, Warburg was
And he,
damaged
you
by
know,
the
and the way that would work is he would literally just write, my rights have been violated, and I demand redress, and just a single paragraph on what happened to him. And then it would be read before the legislature. Then they would split up and decide, the House would decide, send it over to the Senate for concurrence, and it would be all done, that's it. You know, and when you have a judiciary that wants to take their guns away, how are you gonna get redress there? So, this is not only our right, for some of us, this is the only way you're gonna get any satisfaction. Because you've got a judiciary or an executive branch that's, not willing to hear you.
Yes, thank you. I'm a resident of Rochester. My name is Rick Wall. Cliff Newton actually got a redress committee
Yeah.
project through that.
For the city of
For the
Rochester.
the citizens of Rochester.
Yep.
And as a result of that, I was part of that and testified at that thing. And I have to tell you that it really is a process that they really look at. And, and I have to tell you that it really makes you feel pretty good that they look at something went wrong. We weren't the only one, there was other hearings and stuff like that. But I have to tell you, that's really what America is. You know what I mean? You have someplace to go that you can do that. Now, I think if you can implement this and get every person running to stand or fall for that, I'll tell you what, maybe not this time, maybe next time, and every time you just keep.
Well, hopefully this time.
The list isn't that long, I'll call them all up myself and get them on the record, and we will have a list, who's for or against. And it should be tremendous fodder for anyone challenging the incumbent.
If you look at my card,
Yes.
I put these out. On the front, it's got Article 31. On the back, it's got Article 38. Article 38 says they have to exactly and constantly follow the Constitution, period. The principles of the Constitution. And if they don't, Article 31 says you've been grieved and you can take them to task. These are the only two things we need to know. We don't need to know a whole lot else.
Well, except for the fact that we've got to get
Well, we gotta get
petitions,
the word.
but, the petitions
Is it-
actually have to be seen.
Someone shared with me that 1941 International Organizations Immunity Act, which states that when public servants take their oath, they are becoming a foreign entity. They are swearing their allegiance to the United Nations.
And John,
New Hampshire's incorporated
that's
this
something that needs to be
corporation.
brought up as a petition. It needs
But
to be-
how are we gonna get into this corporation?
The only way this is happening is for all of us to spread the word,
Yeah.
all of us to, you know,
Talk about it.
you can take this thing right off my website, this presentation,
Plan on.
and start talking to people. Email it to them, talk to them over the phone. All right, go to the next screen, go to the next screen. You see where it says, you know, just talk to them. And, you know, getting this out is the big
I
problem.
think the lawmakers need to know the whole thing about the capital letter name, the United States of America, capital.
They'll know if you put a
The
petition in.
lowercase United States of America is our real government. It's been swept to the side. The corporate realm is running the law, running the show. The corporate realm we need to attack. We're all blowing smoke and mirrors. Red and blue bombs are the same. It don't matter. You got the Republicans on this side of the plate, Democrats on this side. They're dropping the same bombs.
To the gentleman's point, which is because of the overbearing federal government, which at this point I think, Brand, is mostly lawless and without any restraint. The one thing that we can do to restrain federal power is to exercise our state rights, but it requires us to be active, to organize, and to get people involved. Now, the beautiful thing about redress, before you go, this is a nonpartisan issue. Doesn't care if you get a D or an R. And also, too, if any of you have another venue that we can give this presentation to you, that you think would like to hear this information, please give us a card, or just let us know, we'll write it down. We want to be able to give this, we want to have 2 or 3 people at least giving these presentations every day of the week, all across the state.
Yeah.
So if you know of anyone that would like to hear this, and might appreciate it, please let us know, we'll get in contact.
Share venues.